It's a beautiful Wednesday, November 19th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful, award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, co-raps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, always a good time. And I know we were all excited about what this season can be. Sooners checked in at number 8 in the college football playoff rankings. We're all starting to think about what it could be like to host a playoff game in Norman. Stop it right now. We got to lock in, Ted.
I know it.
All of us, players, coaches, radio guys, fans, everyone, lock in, because a very good football team is coming to Norman on Saturday.
Yep, that's right. And, you know, there are nervous people out there, and rightfully so. But my thing is, like, I'm not worried about this football team looking past Missouri, worried about the playoff. I'm just worried about Missouri because this team is really good and could beat you any week, regardless of what the future looks like, right? I mean, this is just a really good football team. You heard Coach Venable say it on his coaching show. He thinks they have the second best defense in the SEC. And we know that they also are going to bring an elite running game. And what travels in football? Defense and running game, right? That's how you go win games on the road. So I'm with you. Incredibly dangerous football team.
Let's dive straight into it, man. When it's the Sooners defense against the Missouri offense, what are you watching for?
Well, we've talked about this and referenced Missouri a lot. Their running game is a thing of beauty. They are an outside zone team. There's not a lot of these teams in college football. The majority of what you get is kind of the same stuff, right? Counter, power, split zone, inside zone. That's what 90% of teams run, and they all do it pretty similar. They get to them different ways, and there's creative ways, personnel packages and formations that you can get to the same stuff. But ultimately, most people run the same stuff. And it's kind of run it where their numbers aren't. Well, Missouri's a totally different animal. They operate completely different. They build everything they do off the outside zone. And they don't care what the numbers say. They don't care where you're lined up. They are going to run, and they are going to go lateral, and they are really good on the offensive line at doing it. Even Gabe, to skip around a little bit on like your counters and powers and like duo and stuff where they're double teaming, I think they're probably the best double team that we've faced.
They are. It's clear their offensive line coach has made it a very big point of emphasis. Take care of the down linemen. Now, they do a good job getting up to the second level, especially in the outside zone stuff, but they are going to focus on moving defensive linemen off the ball first. They are not in a hurry to get up to the second level. It's clear they have been coached. Take care of the down guys, which I think is a great way of coaching it. Very smart way of doing it. And they do a nice job, whether it's the gap scheme stuff, the outside zone, the inside zone. They run a lot of split zone. They get to that in a variety of ways. They get cheek to cheek, and they move guys off the rock. They do a nice job, man. It's a really solid O-line. We've played more talented offensive lines, but this one, when it comes to them playing together and how physical they are, it's It's right up there, man. They're very, very solid.
Yep. And that's really the core of the running game is the outside zone. Like I said, they'll do the other stuff, but it's incredibly dangerous. The reason why it's so hard to defend, I mean, there's a bunch of reasons, but one of them is there's really not necessarily a point of attack. There's things they're wanting to do on the front side and there's things they're wanting to do on the back side, but a lot of running game, especially your gap scheme stuff, they're blocking to attack a specific point of the defense, and you go defend that specific point. If someone runs power, I know where they're trying to run the ball. If they run counter, I know where they're trying to run it. Split zone, zone insert, you have a really good idea where the football is going. Outside zone, it may hit all the way outside by the tight end, outside the tight end. It may cut back all the way to the backside tackle. And what that means is if it hits front side to the tight end, if you snap the ball in the middle of the field, that might be the sideline. The cutback may cut back and bend all the way back past a flat player from the middle of the field and hit on the other hash. So you have to defend the entire field. And the gaps are changing as they're running. There's a run play against Mississippi State, an outside zone play down in the red zone. And they motion a receiver in, and I think he goes the wrong way. I think he thinks they're going zone right because he kind of comes in like he's cutting the guy off, but here comes everyone to the left. And the play goes on for like 6 seconds, and it's just linemen running, like they've got their shoulders and they're just running. And it starts on the opposite hash, and there's just this wall of bodies that goes all the way down to the goal line. I mean, it's something to see. It's like, it's really good. It's dangerous, but I think that we have a good matchup for this because of the way we penetrate with our defensive line, because of the discipline of our edge players. They really love to attack the flat players with this offense, whether it's there's a bunch of action, the zone's going away, and they cut back as you try to over pursue, and they break contain and they're off to the races. Or if it's the boot passes that you get off of it, your overhang, cut back, flat defender, contain player, whatever you want to call those guys, they have to be incredibly disciplined. You can't get over anxious to get over the top and go help out on the other side, or they'll make you pay. And I think Hardy is, I don't know, he's one of the best running backs in the country. Wherever you want to classify him, I don't know. But the dude is really good. He's physical. He runs with great pad level. He is he's got good breakaway speed. He finds himself in the open field a lot, and he is hard to catch. Great vision, great cutback. He's got shake in the open field. He can lower the pads in the open field. He can do everything. And I actually think Jamal Roberts, 20, that comes in as his backup, and they will do some two running back stuff at times, mainly for protection. But I think the backup running back's pretty good as well. They will do some like direct snap, wildcat type of stuff with either one of those backs as well. You don't get a whole lot out of those guys out of the pass game. They will do some like running back screen stuff, and it's traditionally done off of like whether it's boot and kind of throwback, or it's usually some type of misdirection involved with the running back screen stuff. But the running game, it's first and foremost, Gabe. Like, that's what you got to do. You got to stop the running game, and it's typically going to be that outside zone. They're going to tinker around with some stuff, and it's like they'll come out running out of the gate, don't get me wrong, but they kind of want to throw multiple things at you before they settle into what they're doing. It's like they don't want you to get super committed to being able to defend that play. So they sprinkle some other stuff in, mainly early, to mess with those linebackers and safeties that are coming down with support. But to me, that's the game. If you can stop the outside zone, you win the football game.
It's the best play in football, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful when it's running at a high level. It's just beautiful. The amount of
Yeah.
variables it creates, it's why it's my favorite play in football. But I'm with you. Penetration kills it. That's the key. And it's going to be interesting to see how much movement we utilize, because if you're slanting the proper way against outside zone, the play's dead. It's great. If you guess the wrong way, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Or if you think it's going one way and you slant the line that way and then they actually are running it the other way, maybe they break some tendencies, then you can be in trouble. But I still think that I like the matchup across the defensive front. I think one of the big keys is just like our safeties tackling Hardy in space. There's going to be some situations where he breaks through the initial line and you're going to have to get him on the ground. And that dude is not easy to tackle, Ted.
No, he's not.
Especially it's like a little muscle hamster.
Yeah. Whenever he gets pouring it downhill and, he's a load. And that's the thing. Like, whenever you stop the run, you have to build the wall at the line of scrimmage and account for all the gaps. And Missouri is the best team that I've seen and it's a combination of the personnel and the scheme that one guy, whether it's an interior lineman, whether it's a contained player on the backside, whether it's a guy whiffing on a tackle, one guy and it's gone 60 yards. You can stop him 40 times in a row and then one guy's out of the gap and that's a touchdown, right? And that's what's going to be dangerous about this game is, depending on what, like they're always going to be a play away. And I know we say that a lot, but it's that dangerous. So run game. And, that's, to me, that's critical. The interesting thing is, do we get Pribula? Is it going to be Zollers? I don't know. I'm operating off of the case that we get Zollers as the quarterback. I think you have to. Pribula dislocated his ankle. His foot almost fell off his lower leg a month ago. It would be quite the ask to have him come in as mobile and aggressive as our defense is and be himself or be able to go out there and get the job done. Do you see that differently?
No. I saw a video of Pribula jogging across the field last week in warmups, and I mean, he didn't have like a big hitch in the giddy up, but he also wasn't running very fast. And mobility is a huge piece of what he does.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. If they put him out there, he's not going to be the guy he was earlier in the season.
Agree.
And I think you prepare pretty similarly because Zollers is a solid athlete, but they don't get to all the QB run game stuff that they got with Pribula. I'm sure you're going to prepare for it a little, but I think the way that the offense has looked over the last, let's call it the last month with Zollers, like that's the version of Missouri's offense I think that BV will be planning for.
Yeah. And I think you treat it kind of like you do Ty Simpson, right? If he pulls it and goes out, we'll rally to it. And until it becomes a real problem for us, we're going to, we won't give the QB run stuff nearly as much attention. I think that he's a solid quarterback. He's young, but I like his mechanics. I like his release. It looks smooth. It looks efficient. He's quick. He's accurate. Some of his best stuff, in my opinion, is some of the fade balls he throws. He does a really good job there. But here's the thing. He is a young quarterback. he's going to tell you where he's going with the football with his eyes. They're not going to drop back pass, and he's not going to be scanning the entire field looking. He's not Ty Simpson, what we just saw, right? With how good Ty Simpson is with his eyes. Um, I think the pass game comes down to really two things. It is timing route stuff, the fade, stop routes, slant routes, where he knows where he's going with the football, right? I'm throwing this stop route. I will come to the line of scrimmage there and off. We got a cushion with the corners. I'm snap, footwork, boom, ball's gone. I'm throwing the stop route. And then the concepts where he's reading things out, it's one side read stuff where you get like the star route where you'll get like a flat, a slant, and like the hitch in behind it. That three little concept. It's one easy read. You're basically reading one defensive player. Three level where you got a flat, you got the mid-level outbreaking route and the takeoff. You're reading the flat player. If he jumps the flat, I'm throwing the mid-level, right? I mean, it's pretty simple stuff. But I think that's the majority of what the pass game is going to be. When they get the looks they like in passing downs, it's man to man. We're throwing balls away from leverage down the field. We're throwing the fades on the outside. I mean, it's all like built-in stuff. He's not going to drop back, look around. Oh, that's taken, hit the check down. That's not what's going to happen in the pass game. So, while I think he's got good potential to be a good quarterback, he's young. He's telling you where he's going with the ball. They don't do a whole lot with him in the run game, and he gets affected by pressure tremendously. So I like the matchup we have at quarterback.
I think it'll be interesting to see. They've not been very aggressive pushing it down the field.
No.
So while I think they've got some good players, like I think Alubade, the freshman,
Yeah, he's good.
is a talented guy. Norfleet, the tight end, has been banged up, but I'm kind of anticipating him playing in this game. And we've had our issues with tight ends.
Yeah.
Mainly the tight end hide plays.
It's coming. I don't know how they're going to get to it. He may come off the sideline or something, but the tight end hide is coming.
Professional courtesy, right?
That's right.
We'll see if we figured that out. But Kevin Coleman Jr. is their leading wide receiver. He is more of a work the intermediate area of the field. He's a crafty route runner, quick, good after the catch type guy. But they don't have like guys like we saw from Ole Miss or guys like we saw from Alabama where you just go, oh my gosh, this guy's just going to take the top off.
Yeah.
That's not what I've seen, but hey, maybe they try some of that. But that's really not what their passing game has been as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, it's not they're not scheming deep routes. They do throw the fades a lot, because it's the low risk throw for the young quarterback. But you're right. And I actually like all the receivers. I think they're all, good route runners, solid route runners, but I think they're all really good without or after the catch. I think they all do a really good job. They've got quickness, they've got movement. I think the receivers block really well down the field because of the zone game stuff. So whenever someone gets the ball, it's dangerous. You mentioned the tight ends, both tight ends that they use, huge, 265, 270 pounds. And I think they're both really good blockers.
Jordan Harris, number 86, he's an offensive lineman. He just doesn't know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They use him as a glorified offensive lineman.
Yep. Yep. And he does a really good job.
Yeah.
Third down. Third down is, you stop the run, you put them in third down, right? That is the key to this football game, specifically third and long. I thought this was interesting. Missouri is number 2 in the SEC on third down. 50%. Okay. Really good. But in SEC only games, right, eliminating the non-conference, they're 38%. Take it a step further. Against ranked opponents, they're 27%. It's dropping pretty quickly here. I'll take it a step further. I went they played 3 ranked games, and they've lost all those. They've been against really good teams, and really close against Vanderbilt, really close against Alabama. A&M, it was a close game for 2.5 quarters, and then A&M ran away with it. I went and looked in those 3 ranked games. Third down of 6 or more, they were like 1 of 22 or 23. And I didn't count a couple of like end of game, like desperation situation,
Yeah,
like
garbage time.
yeah, stuff like that. But they are not a third and long football team. You put them in third and long and you play really good defense, things swing massively in your favor. They will go for it on fourth down a lot, but they convert a lot of third and shorts because of how good they are running the football. So if you can be good on early downs, put Zollers in 3rd and 7 or more, your chances of winning are really, really, really good.
Look at the research by you, bud. Look at you go.
Well,
Very proud.
I just looked up the third down. I was like, I know a lot of that has to be non-conference, and like the more layers I peeled, the more I figured I was like, okay, they're number 2 in third down, but they're not a good third down team.
People may not realize, like, Ted's one of the ultimate rabbit hole guys I know. Like, once he's going, like he's diving as deep as that thing goes.
It was way more difficult to find like good third down numbers than you could imagine. Like, this is the data age. There should be statistics like everywhere. Not easy, but to me, that's it. Stop the run, be disciplined on the outside zone stuff, edge players, contain players, be smart, don't get overcommitted. They're going to boot you. They're going to misdirection, the cutback stuff, and then force them in third and long. Zoller's going to tell you where he's going with the football. Go pick it off.
I like it, man. Anything else? OU's defense versus the Missouri offense.
I like it. I mean, it's going to be a tough physical football game, but I think our defense is up to the challenge.
All right, let's talk about the other side of the ball. OU's offense versus Missouri's defense. But first, download the Loves app from Love's Travel Stops, your guide to savings on the road. Fill up for less with the discount on fuel. 10 cents off on every gallon of gas and 25 cents off on every gallon of auto diesel. And don't forget, in the store, you can unlock mobile deals on the Loves app to save on snacks, drinks, and select meals at Love's restaurants. Plus, you can plan your pit stops for your next road trip with the map and route planner. All from Love's, the heart of the highway.
Steaks are back. Didi Ranch's luxury steak cuts are restocked and ready to ship straight to your door. From mouth-watering ribeyes to silky smooth fillets, this is the best beef Oklahoma has to offer. And here's the kicker. They're now shipping next day air for free when you use code SOONER at checkout. That's right. Next day air, like Amazon Prime, but for steak. Didi Ranch delivers taste and tradition the luxurious way. Order today at DiddyRanch.com and get your steaks just in time for the holidays.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, the Oklahoma-owned company and proud official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. Guys, it's November in Norman, and that means 2 more home football games where you can grab Simple Modern's limited edition, brand new design drinkware that's only available in the stadium. These also make the perfect holiday gift for every Sooner fan in your life, especially for those who can't make it to a game. I'm telling you, it's the perfect way to cheer on the Sooners. And with 10% of all profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, every sip supports Oklahomans on and off the field. Simple Modern, good everywhere. All right, breaking down OU's offense versus Missouri's defense and what we're watching for. First of all, the number one point remains cherish the football. Take care of it. Backs, wide receivers, quarterback, take care of the ball. Offensive lineman, pass protection, like everyone is involved in not turning the ball over. So take care of the ball. You do not want to give Missouri extra possessions. Ted, I'm of the belief that they're going to try to shorten this game and run it and just make it feel uncomfortably short.
Yeah.
For everyone in this stadium. Like, I think that may be the mentality coming in for Eli Drinkwitz and this Missouri team. But looking at their defense, they're really good, man. They're really good. They're right up there, in my opinion, with the best that we've played. I think they're right there with Texas. I think they're right there with Alabama. They've got really good personnel, size, speed. The group as a whole is really physical. I mean, there's a lot to like, and structurally, like, they are a 4-2-5 team. They are an even front team. They'll do some different things from an alignment standpoint on third down, but they are a 4-2-5 even front team. That's what they are. And one interesting thing, they are very similar to us in the fact that they play a ton of guys on defense. Rotate a bunch of defensive linemen. Play like 5 or 6 guys at inside backer. Play a bunch of different guys in the secondary. So they're not going to be worn down. Like, they have a solid rotation at every level of their defense. And my favorite players, number 9, Zion Young, big, physical, athletic edge. And then inside backer, Josiah Trotter, number 40. A lot of people may remember his dad.
Mm-hmm.
He flies around the field, man. Flies around the field, super physical, smart too, like knows when to get really physical and like destruct the block, but also has a good sense of, I can just slip this guy and dip around him. He's got in a shocking development with the guy whose dad played in the NFL forever. He's got good football instincts. Interesting how that works, but those are my favorite 2 guys that they got. Let's get into some run game thoughts. First of all, our running back situation is not concerning. I don't really know what's going to happen there.
I don't either.
I'm not sure they know what's going to happen there. Now, we haven't asked. But it just, with the way that Xavier Robinson looked after he took that hit against Bama, just going to be real, it did not look good. He did not look good. We still don't really know what the Javonte Barnes situation is. Be awfully helpful if the guy could play. That's what I know.
Yeah.
Hey, we're relying on Jay Knott in this game? Gabe Sawchuk?
Gabe Sawchuk. I don't know.
But in a game where, I mean, you got to win the game to make the college football playoff, and you're going against a really good defense. Getting way down the depth chart at the running back position is not exactly where you want to be.
No, it's not. And it's one of those things where, any position group, but especially running back, the way it's kind of unfolded, you can find yourself in a really bad situation really quickly. And, I imagine like Blaylock looks like he's been, true freshman it's been a long season, physical season for him. And I don't know how good he's feeling. And if Xavier Robinson is like, you're on to guys that haven't played meaningful snaps at all for you. And I don't know, would they play a non-running back at running back? That seems very difficult to do at this point, especially against a team like Missouri.
Canick? I don't know. But, hey, Blaylock was healthy enough to play against Alabama. Now, he doesn't look like the guy. He doesn't look the way that he looked early in the season.
Yeah.
right? He clearly looks far from 100%.
There's been some wear and tear for sure.
Yeah. So we'll see what the running back situation looks like. But whoever it is, they're going to be running it into a really solid front from Missouri. Good size and strength in the interior, good size and length on the edge. Inside backers are stout and can run. Safety's really aggressive coming in and getting in the fit. Just physical across the board. It's going to be a challenge to run the ball against this group. Now, the number one thing that has given them trouble is speed sweeps. For whatever reason, that is the number one run that has given them issues. Teams attacking the edges of the defense with wide concepts in the run game. And concepts that get the ball outside quickly in the run game. And one thing that we do that has given them trouble is the QB gap scheme read run game. So where there is an outside element threatening the defense, whether it's a speed sweep or kind of a wide handoff to a running back, and then Mateer is reading those defenders towards that sweep, and if they widen with it, then he's running some type of gap scheme, whether that's QB power to the same side or QB GT counter back the other way. That is a concept as a whole that they have struggled with in multiple games. And A&M hit him on the speed sweep, and then Marcel Reed, next time they ran it, hit him with the QB GT counter, going back the other way, and just big gashes. Kind of that they have struggled with that concept as a whole. So Mateer, he's going to have to be good at reading those situations, and then the guys on the perimeter have to block well. That has been when those runs have really gone against this defense. It's because the guys out on the edge are doing a really nice job blocking. So, but speed sweeps, and I'll just throw this in here now, like bubble screens, now screens, like just turn up, throwing it right now, getting the ball out on the perimeter, making their defensive backs get off blocks and make tackles. That has been a weak point of this defense. So you have to attack that. And those are easy plays, man. If you are not where you want to be at running back, hand it to Deion Burks, hand it to Isaiah Satania on those speed sweeps. Get the ball out of the core. Make them tackle in space out on the perimeter, you know?
Yeah. No, I like that. And, it's something we've had success with. And it's one of those where, you wonder why maybe we haven't gone back to it more. Like we talked about Satania, how he looked in that speed sweep against Alabama. Thought maybe you could get back to that and continue to stress teams. Like we have a problem moving defenses around a lot. And that's one of the best ways to do it is to, just hand it to a speed guy and try and get some blocking out in front on the perimeter, and where you can win some of those one-on-one blocking matchups.
When we're in 11 personnel, which we are an 11 personnel team, tied in the core, you are going to get a 6-man box. And these are basically the concepts we've gone with. Split zone, the same side split zone play. We sprinkled in, sparingly some zone insert, and then GY counter. Now, you got to be very, very selective on making our tight ends block these edge guys from Missouri. Like putting one of our tight ends in line and making them block Zion Young is not going to go well. Yep. It's just not. Like he's too good. He's too powerful. Our guys have not held up in those situations this season. So you got to get to the split zone, the zone insert stuff where they're either just going and collision them or you're getting them on linebackers or safeties. And that's the interesting thing about Missouri is they will get a seventh element into the box and just play that way. Whether that's a safety inserting very aggressively on the snap, or they just line up that way with the nickel in the core or rolling down a safety as the seventh element in the core. And when they do that, I've seen teams struggle being on the same page of like who they're blocking, which is perplexing to me. But the O-line and the tight ends, if we're running a play where we've got 6 blockers, this is going to sound crazy. You got to know which 6 guys you are blocking. And because I've seen like the safety inserts and then all of a sudden both combinations go to the same guy and you're like, wait, why are you doing that? That can't happen. We have to be on the same page, knowing that that picture may change a little bit post-snap, and our combinations have to be working to different human beings in the zone game. If we're running counter, the double team, we got to know where the double team is working. You got to leave 2 for the pullers. Do some simple math on the fly, boys. Count to 2. You can do it. I promise you can do it. But the goal should be to run it efficiently into a 6-man box and force them to feel like they have to line up with the 7th element in the fit, whether that's a safety or a nickel. And once that happens, then that's when Mateer's got to make really good decisions with the RPOs. Now, he's got to, if we're running something where he's carrying the ball, if we have 6 blockers, they've got 6 in the box. Or if we've got 7 blockers, they've got 7 in the box. We're all good. Run the run. But when you're outnumbered and at a disadvantage, that's when he's got to be good with those reads and then throw that stuff out on the perimeter that has given them so much trouble. Mm-hmm. He's got to be good with his eyes in those situations, and he's got to be accurate with those RPO throws when he throws them, right? We've seen him a couple times this year, like he's missed. He's been inaccurate on those bubbles to the outside. Those can be huge plays in this game. He cannot miss those throws. Those are easy throws.
Yeah.
Got to make them. Sometimes they're going to get with their defensive linemen. Traditionally, in an even front, you're getting like a shade or a G and a 3 technique when a team is an even front 4-2-5 team. Like some combination of that. They get in some alignments with their interior defensive linemen that are solely designed to make your double teams harder. They will line up in head-up 2 techniques on the guards. So if you're running, let's say you're running counter one way, the tackle feels like he's got to really get down in there, and then all of a sudden their backer's over the top, he's unblocked, he's making the play in the hole. Mm-hmm. Like they do some stuff. They will align their defensive tackles like just in the A-gaps, both of them, trying to take away surface area of their defensive linemen for your double teams. So when that happens, when they get in those alignments, boys, you got to be able to block guys one-on-one in this league. Like you got to be able to do that. So, but one thing is the tackles in some of those situations, you can't get buried in those combinations. You have to trust your guards to do their job and then climb to the second level and get hands on their backers. And then the guards got to do their jobs, man. Mm-hmm. Like if they're in a 2 technique, all right, let's go. Let's see who's better, man. That's just kind of how it is. But they do some interesting alignment stuff that we just haven't seen from other teams where it's clear to me they're trying to jack up your double teams in the run game. They're trying to make it hard on you. And to their credit, they have done it effectively against a lot of teams. I think Jake Michaela needs to have his best game in the run game of the season. Because these guys on the interior, for them, it's just kind of a bad matchup for them. They are really stout, really strong, and they also have length. They're not super twitchy guys. You're not going, oh, man, look at this guy's pass rush tools. They're bull and push-pull guys on the interior. But Michaela has had some trouble moving guys at the point of attack. He's going to need to get his pads down and come off the rock in the run game because their defensive tackles are heavy. So he can't be stalemating all game or 1 yard deep all game. Like that's not going to help the run game go in this one. I would like to see us spread them out some, get the tight end out of the core, and get to some QB run game. This feels like, especially with the running back situation, it's one of those games where you go to material and you go, "Hey, buddy, we'll get the ice tub ready at halftime. Like this is gonna be, you're gonna be feeling this one.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna need you to do what you got to do in this game." And whether it's spread them out, get the tight end out of the core, so just your 5 linemen, material in the running back, like QB split zone, QB zone insert, QB counter with the running back as a blocker. But then as I was thinking about all that, I was like, do we have a running back that can block those plays against this defense? And that's when I thought, okay, could you go no running backs on the field? Can it get tight end and just put him in the backfield as a blocker?
Mm-hmm.
That's an idea I had. No clue if they'll do that. But they have seen some of that from teams this season where a team is in empty, but the tight end's like in the wing and in the core.
Yeah.
And I kind of look how they line up. I kind of like how they line up to that. We'll see if we get to it. But
I like it because you can give the same look like it's a chip and you're helping on 9, Zion Young, but then you can run like split zone or insert with the quarterback as the ball carrier.
You can get to basically
everything.
Your core runs, just you're running your quarterback instead of the running back.
Yep.
So we'll see if they get that. The top run concept that has given them trouble, remember, is like the speed sweep stuff with the QB gap scheme element as the other option on the play. I would assume we're going to get to quite a few of those because they really react strongly to full flow on that sweep action. And if they don't, then you just hand it. So we'll see. But I do think it's going to be a game where John Mateer carries it like 15 times. That's kind of just with the running back situation, with what's given them trouble. That's just kind of how it feels to me, Ted.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I like the idea of spreading them out and quarterback run. Like if you go empty, small personnel out there, quarterback run game on the inside, and it's still an easy way to have those bubbles and tunnels on the outside, and you still have availability for all your speed sweep stuff too. I mean, that could be a big package for us.
On to the pass game. I mentioned it. Bubble screens, quick screens to the outside have been a problem area for them. I know that's not exactly the most exciting thing to talk about, but it's just the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make their defensive backs get off blocks and make tackles. Their nickel, number 13, Dalen Carnell. He looks like an inside backer playing nickel. He's like 225. He looks like a big running back is kind of like his physical build.
Yeah.
I don't think he can cover Satania. Now, they will, depending on your personnel, they'll take him off the field and put Phillips, number 3, who is more of like a corner body on the field. But Carnell is there. He's their starting nickel. And we need to find as many ways as possible to isolate Isaiah Satania on Carnell, because I don't think he can cover him. I'm not so sure he can cover Kanik. I don't think he is very fluid in the hips. I think he's out there more as I'm here to fit the run type of guy than he is I'm out here covering athletic tight ends and slot receivers. So I think that is a matchup. I think that is a guy we need to attack in the passing game. Make him cover.
Yep.
Now,
and I also think that if you get to some empty stuff and he happens to be on the field, you have to imagine, especially if he's over Satania, in their man stuff, or that's where they're going to try to help, right? So
Yeah, good
you
point.
can attack, you can be ready to attack away, feeling like that's where they feel like they're going to be at the biggest risk. And maybe the guys on the backside will have some nice one-on-ones.
Whether it's split zone or the zone insert, I think the zone insert play is the most effective when it comes to play action. We got to get to some of that stuff. Now you got to run the run play effectively to set it up. But their safeties are really aggressive getting down in the box on play action. Like if they think it's run, here they come. Yeah. And I would just love to see us get to some zone insert and then run that zone insert play action we ran against Bama. Remember where Mateer, maybe the best timing play of the day, where Mateer hits Jermichael Carter on the deep dig.
Yep.
We broke it down in the In the Weeds top plays video. Like that looked really good.
Get back. It comes back to making the defense move, right? And moving guys around, and that's how you find the open, easy access throws that, we've been hoping for, is a presentation that moves those guys around on the field.
I mentioned the kind of the RPO thoughts, like, hey, if they get that seventh element into the box, when you've got your tight end in the core and you're getting a one-on-one, or you've got a guy that essentially is one-on-one, maybe the safety's in the middle of the field, but he can't cover that ground. Whether it's Burks, Satania, Jermichael Carter, would love to see us just throw a go ball on one of those instead of like a quick out or a slant. Like, let's just throw a couple, see what happens,
Mm-hmm.
Auburn did it. I know that we don't have Cam Coleman, but they did it, and it looked awfully good. I'm just saying, I would love to see us get a little more aggressive in some of those situations, especially early in the game. Like, put it in their mind. Oh, the Sooners have come to throw some go balls on us. This is different. I think that would be a smart decision for our offense. They have shown a willingness to give up the throw to the tight end who runs like an 8-yard route and just stands right over the ball. I've always called it a Hank route. I don't know. That's what we called it in Kevin Wilson's offense.
Mm-hmm.
But it just tight end runs, goes and sits right in between the backers, whether there's mesh in front of them or not. Like, they kind of just are saying, like, okay, yeah, you can take that throw.
Well, we should take it. I mean,
I agree. Can it go run right in between the inside backers and Mateer just throw it right to him?
Yep. If people are going to give you that, you got to take it. And I think it's one of the least utilized plays in college football. That's probably the easiest, highest success rate that you can have. And people just don't do much of it for whatever reason.
They're going to give it to you. Just take it a couple times. Be great. I think number 12, Dre Norwood, is a really solid corner. But he is an uninspired tackler. Whether it's run game, pass game, you got to make this dude tackle. He has got that. I almost sent you like a low light reel of some of his tackling attempts, but I was like, I'm not going to do that to that young man. I don't want Teddy to judge him. But
always judging.
Yeah, make 12 tackle. So those are kind of my pass game thoughts. Some pass pro thoughts. Gonna be another big test for Michael Fasusi and Ryan Foje. I guess Michael Fasusi and Derek Simmons. I don't know. We'll see. But Zion Young and Damon Wilson are good. Good size, good length, good power. I think Zion Young in particular has really good timing with his swipe moves. Like, you throw your hands, he's got really good timing, swiping and then stepping through, getting on your edge. I would like to see us flash our hands on him a little bit, make him throw that swipe. When guys have done that, it's been effective for him. Some other just individual observations. Number 10, Sterling Webb, looks very heavy on tape, but has a really solid, like, quick, hey, I'm going to push you and then I'm going to pull you move. You got to be ready for that if you're EPL or Fabechi Wee As far as their blitzing, they like blitzing their inside backers. They've shown some other stuff, like they'll blitz the nickel off the edge, like everyone else does. They'll bring a safety blitz. They'll sprinkle some of that stuff in, but it seems like if they're going to blitz, they want to bring those inside backers, and they really like crossfire, right? Those inside backers crossing when they're coming on the blitz in the interior of the offensive line, which means our running backs are going to be tested in pass protection.
Or whoever's playing running back.
I'll say it again. Our running backs will be tested in pass protection. That's what Missouri wants to do. They want to get one of their inside backers on one of your running backs. They want to create that matchup a lot. And Josiah Trotter, number 40, is the guy they want one-on-one with your running back. And it's not a good matchup for us. The dude will come and try to run through your soul. And then the next one, he will do like this Euro step, like step through move. And you're just like, wait, what was that? And he's hit all kinds of running backs with it. Guys like that barely touch him, and he's pressuring the quarterback. So the running backs, whoever it is, they are going to be tested. And now that, Missouri watched the way that Xavier Robinson looked after he came back from the injury.
Yep.
They're going to know he's not 100%. They're going to see how he's feeling about pass protection. It's coming, man. It's what they like to do anyways. You consider our running back situation, it's coming.
Yeah. Got to have a plan for it. Cut, screen, draw, whatever. You got to be able to slow those guys down. I did want to ask you, how do you compare Zion Young with some of the other edge guys we've seen? We've seen a bunch of really good guys, whether it's South Carolina, Texas, Ole Miss, obviously last week, 42 for Alabama. Where does he kind of fall in that group?
He's not as dynamic as Dylan Stewart, which maybe no one in the country is.
Right.
But remember, we didn't get Dylan Stewart for the entire game. I think Zion Young is the most complete defensive end we will have played. Like, just strong in the run game, length, super physical. He's not an elite pass rusher, but he's got some good tools. Like, I think because we didn't really have to face Dylan Stewart, if we would have had to face a full game of Dylan Stewart, I would say that's the best end we've played.
Mm-hmm.
I think knowing that we didn't get a full game against that guy like Zion Young, I think it's fair to say he's the best edge player that we've the most complete edge player. We've played better pass rushers. But as far as a guy that can do everything at a high level, I think he's probably the best we've seen.
Yeah.
Because when you think about the guys from Texas, like Colin Simmons is really, really good. But he doesn't play the run like Zion Young does. You know what I mean?
Is he kind of more like a Falk from Auburn type of player?
He's not as big,
yeah,
but he's a little more dynamic as a pass rusher. Yeah, Falk's up there as well. That guy's probably going to be a first-round pick.
Yeah.
So maybe Falk's the answer. But like he's right up there with as like the best all-around edge that we've played. He's good.
Yeah.
He's good. And you're playing against two freshmen. He's going to be excited about the matchup,
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, he's a good player. They have shown getting to third and long stuff. They have shown a lot of different stuff. 5 up, 6 up, 7 up, overload, right? 3 defensive linemen to one side, 1 defensive lineman to the other. A backer walked up over the guard. But they are a pick and twist team in third down situations. They do all kinds of different things. And number 19 always seems to be involved. Darius Smith, he's their backup jack. 6'5", 240, super like high-hipped, long leg guy.
Mhm.
Just a really interesting build, honestly. And you have to account for him on third down. Like he's coming. They're not dropping him if he's lined up at inside backer. He doesn't drop from the edge spot. Like he's going to be involved somehow, some way. So you know that twist games, pick and twists are coming, and 19 always seems to be involved in the action, whether he's on the ball or off the ball. I would always have him in the count if I was building the protection plan, if that makes sense. They will get to like some pick and twists from depth with their inside backers. Jeremiah Trotter, Josiah Trotter will be lined up at normal linebacker depth, and on the snap, he will run as fast as he can to pick the guard. And it does not look very fun for the guard. And then they will twist off of that. And it's been effective for them. Have your head on a swivel, boys. But the number one thing that concerns me, the number one thing that I think they do best is coordinated rushes with their twist games. And I sent you some of the clips. And here's what I mean by that. They will show 5 up at the line of scrimmage. Right? And this is why you got to watch on YouTube, people. I'm going to simulate this with my fingers here. And this defensive end will bull rush the tackle as hard as he can with no other intention other than to make the quarterback feel that pressure and make him move the other way.
Yep.
He's not trying to sack the quarterback. His job is make that quarterback feel that pocket collapsing and flush the other way. They will then run a 4-man twist where they are trying to flush the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So they will have these 3 guys slant inside or rush straight and then make inside moves to force all 3 of these offensive linemen to come in. And then this guy over the backside guard will take a step and he will loop all the way around. And then that forces this guard to bump the center. Center has to bump the guard. Guard's got to bump the tackle. You got to do all of that to get onto that looper.
And the quarterback, because of the way the pocket moves, naturally moves over to that direction to where they get that free looper trying to isolate it. And it's really good. You know, you'll see a lot of teams do a version of that, like on end of half or like Hail Mary type of situations. It's a similar concept, and you know, it ends up usually working pretty well.
I'll draw it here. That's probably a better way of doing it, Ted.
Okay.
And then, so this guy, this end is going to bull rush as hard as he can to try to make the quarterback flush this way. These 3 all coming inside, this guy looping all the way around, right to where they want the quarterback to flush. And they do it really well. I've seen it a lot, and I'm just like, dang, man, that's tough. Because it's tough for the offensive line to bump all that stuff off. Like, it's got to be this quick chain reaction of guard bumping center, center bumping guard bumping tackle. And it's just lines that can accomplish that have played like multiple seasons together.
Yeah.
That's not what we have, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But line's really well coached. I'm sure they'll be working on it. We'll see if they can execute it, you know? But that is holding up when those defensive ends decide, hey, I'm just here to bowl through your soul. That'll be very important because that's the key to those coordinated rushes. That's the key, like getting the quarterback to flush where you want him to flush. If you shut down the bull right away, quarterback ain't going to flush, you know?
Right.
So,
yep.
But that's really all I've got, dude. Their defense is good. Did I make that clear that I think their defense is good? Okay.
Yep. Dangerous team.
Dangerous team.
I think the formula is very similar to what we had on the road against Alabama. You got to be the most physical team. You got to win the turnover battle, and you must win special teams.
Yep. I'm with you. All right, let's get the caller shot. We asked you guys the number one thing you'll be watching for in OU, Missouri. This first one comes from Austin Elite 35, who says, how does the most physical defense in the country handle a tough run game, and can the offense get going? That's the game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Stop the run, put Zollers in third and long as many times as you can, and try and make him force him into some big mistakes, hopefully some turnovers. And yeah, the offense is, I mean, this to me is a game more than any where it would really, really, really help to play with the big lead. If you could get a 2-score lead, which, I say that, but they'll keep running the ball until the bitter end. Like they're not going to give up on it mid third quarter and say, well, we got to start throwing it. They will run it till the bitter end, but there will come a point where you can force them to have to throw the football, and that's not their strength right now. They want to run it.
Yep. Let's learn a little bit more about the Missouri Tigers from Bill Connelly. But first,
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
with ice cold beers, great food, and TVs all around, Pub W is the perfect spot to catch OU football and NFL Sundays. Pub W has been voted best happy hour 3 years in a row and serves brunch Saturday and Sunday mornings until 2 p.m. You can enjoy classics like chicken and waffles and their steak breakfast burrito, as well as unique dishes like the Big Country Benedict. Plus, brunch berries, mimosas, and espresso martinis. Visit pubw.com to find a location near you. Pub W, good food, good drinks, good people.
Insurica's launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
It is our pleasure to be joined by the king of the college analytics nerds, the unquestioned leader of the stats-driven analysis in this sport. Bill Connelly is in the house. Also, you have to write more words for ESPN than any other human being. It's insane, dude.
I'm up there. I'd love to see a ranking of just pure word count. We got, like I always say, we can debate the quality. We cannot debate the quantity, and that's something I'll always have going for me.
And I would just say to everyone, make sure that you go and comment on all of Bill's stuff and let him know what you think of the breakdowns.
The SP Plus. Everybody loves SP Plus. Nobody ever objects to anything they see from SP Plus.
No one ever complains about your system built. Now, you're here. We're going to talk some SP Plus for sure, but you're also Missouri is your team.
Yep.
You are a Mizzou grad. Let's dive into the Missouri Tigers. And I feel like you got to start with the quarterback situation. Yeah. What do you think about the possibility of Prebula playing in this game? I mean, this is going to go out before we probably won't know until Saturday.
Right.
So what do you think the possibilities are there? And if he does play, like, how does that change things for Missouri's offense?
Well, I mean, just the idea of getting back on the field less than a month after you dislocated your ankle in an injury, guys seemed pretty grossed out by it at the time. You're like, man, that don't quite feel right. But assuming he is cleared in all the ways you're supposed to be cleared, then, I mean, I do think when you're playing Oklahoma, the biggest thing is you just can't hand them easy points. OU's defense is really good at going out and stealing points, setting up the off, or, either, the pick six from last week, obviously, or just, creating a really good situation for the offense. If you can just play a pure field position game and punt at the end of every possession, you might be in good shape. So from that point alone, like you have to like Pabula being out there if you're a Missouri fan, because Matt Zollers, I mean, his arm strength is unquestionable. He was better last week than he was the week before. He's still a true freshman playing on Owen Field in front of one of the most aggressive defense in the country, and that just screams bad things if you're hoping for a clean game. So it would certainly help Missouri, but it wouldn't really change the fact that Pabula also will make an errant throw every now and then, and isn't perfect, and that's going to be the biggest obstacle for Missouri overall.
How has the offense been different under Zollers than Pabula? We know they want to run the football, right?
Right.
They've got their foundation of what they want to do, but how has it structurally been different, I guess, other than the playmaking and the scrambling around that you see from Pabula?
Yeah, I mean, they tried a few. They didn't necessarily do horizontal pass after horizontal pass like I thought they might against A&M. With no threat of pass, they still ran the ball really well. That's been kind of encouraging the last couple of weeks. But they were trying to give him, pretty easy passes on a pretty tight radius. I mean, not necessarily sideline to sideline, but within a certain range from the pocket. And he missed a couple passes early on against A&M that pretty much made it clear immediately, like they're not scoring enough points on A&M, and things got out of hand. Last week, obviously, against Mississippi State, Mississippi State's run defense is one of the worst in the conference. They couldn't really change the numbers in the box enough and couldn't really force Zollers to do much. So he went 8 for 15, and that was all he had to do. And otherwise, Ahmad Hardy was going crazy, and that was enough. So I don't think we know everything we need to know about Zollers, which is kind of the point. If you have to start a true freshman third stringer late in the year, you don't want to do much of anything. And they kind of got away with it, but obviously now the defensive upgrades just slight going from Mississippi State to OU. So it'll be I don't know what they would feel safe trying to do with Zollers there.
Clearly, Ahmad Hardy is one of the best running backs in the country. The guy is just ridiculously hard to tackle. I think Jamal Roberts, the backup, is also very, very talented, Bill. But what have you seen from this Missouri offensive line? How is this group that is the key to the run game and the key to the pass protection? How is that group performed as a whole in your eyes?
It has been interesting because it feels like pass protection's been really good. Random glitches, but that's always going to be the case. It feels like pass protection has been really, really solid for Missouri for the most part this year. Run blocking, it has been interesting for a month there in October. I mean, Hardy was kind of getting dark horse Heisman kind of hype, and then for 3 games in October, he averages 3.7 yards per carry, and they can't really run the ball anymore. And nobody really ran the ball against Auburn, and so that was kind of understandable. But even on against Alabama on one side and Vanderbilt on the other, they didn't really do a lot then either. Didn't really feel like they were getting much movement up front. So that was kind of disappointing. And then of course they do whatever they want against Mississippi State last week. But it does feel like this is a good pass protection unit that has helped Pabula out a lot. He doesn't go for a lot deep. The Missouri offense, I mean, Eli Drinkwitz and Kirby Moore just aren't really deep shot guys. They want to be efficient and control near the line of scrimmage, and they're really good at it. But so that helps with pass protection too. But obviously, when you're facing a defense with as much speed as OU has this year, it'll be interesting to see what they think they can try to get away with.
Whenever people talk about a successful run game, you'll hear about the offensive line, you'll hear about the running backs, you'll hear about, structurally what they do. What you don't hear a lot about is the tight ends, and the tight end blocking is critical to what Missouri does. Tell us a little bit about that group.
Yeah, I mean, they got decent rotation of tight ends. Obviously, their best tight end, Norfleet, is a little bit more of a pass catcher than a blocker, and also is hurt a lot. I think he's good for this coming week. But yeah, I mean, that's They have had at least a little success with kind of going wide, running towards the strong side of the field, and I think it's been solid. Nothing, not the greatest blocking tight ends you've ever seen, but solid.
I think, or is it 86 is Jordan Harris, I believe?
I believe so. Yeah.
He's just like a glorified
Yeah,
offensive lineman.
he's not.
He
as
looks
many
huge,
snaps.
Bill.
Yeah, not as many snaps as Norfleet. James has gotten a lot of snaps as Norfleet's been hurt. But yeah, Harris is just kind of a half a tight end at this
He
point.
looks about like 6'5", 275. Like he looks
Yeah,
enormous.
yeah, he has like 3 catches all year, so that kind of gives away his role.
One more question about the offense for you. What do you think? What type of style do you think Missouri wants to play offensively in this game? Like it's clear they are an outside zone team. Like they want to establish that
Yeah.
concept and run it efficiently, and that's what everything they do offensively is built off. Bill, but what do you think this has to look like for Missouri offensively for them to find some success against one of the best defenses in college football?
Well, I mean, the biggest success for Missouri is going to be field position. I mean, this is kind of a repeat of the Auburn game. You guys have played Auburn, and you know how that goes. I mean, it's not a very fun experience. It's a little different now with Ashton Daniels, but when they had Jackson Arnold there, it really was just rock fight and field position and who turns the ball over first. And I would assume it's kind of the same approach here. They didn't try a whole lot against Auburn. They didn't run very well, but they were able to get some first downs and keep the field position game at bay. I think that's absolutely number one. You'd love to any easy points that can come from turnovers or random big plays is going to be big, but I do think Missouri is pretty comfortable playing that kind of rock fight field position game, and it's hard to see anything else succeeding. You really does need short fields a lot of the time to get their point totals into the 20s and whatnot, and if you can avoid that, then that's kind of step one. Which, against A&M 2 weeks ago, they did that well for a half. Even with Zollers missing some passes, it was 7-0 late in the first half. And if he just makes the passes that are available to him, it's probably 7-3 or 7-6. So they know they can succeed with that, and they'll be pretty patient, I would assume. They're not going to force the issue.
What do you think some of the critical matchups personnel-wise are going to be against Missouri's offense and Oklahoma's defense, if there's any that stick out?
Well, I do. I mean, obviously, they're going to find out is Hardy getting 2 yards of carry or 5 yards of carry, and they're going to lean on that quite a bit. And but I do think they're just going to hunt opportunities in the passing game, whether it's with Kevin Coleman out of the slot. Josh Manning suddenly had a couple of really nice catch and runs last week. Marquise Johnson loves to go deep, and they haven't gotten him the ball nearly enough, but they are going to hunt around Olubade, the freshman blue chipper, who's had some really, really nice moments. It does feel like they searched for those matchups in the secondary, and the go-to guy kind of changes from game to game. So to me, that's the biggest thing. I mean, well, I guess the biggest thing is O-line versus D-line, but that's not a very good individual matchup there. So it is going to be interesting to see what advantages they think they can find in the pass.
All right, let's talk about that Missouri defense, Bill. And I have to imagine the numbers line up with what my eyes are telling me. This defense, when I've watched them, and I've watched every SEC snap they've played this season now, this defense looks legit.
Yeah.
And it looks like they've got size, speed, physicality at every level of the defense. Like, how good is this Missouri defense?
Yeah, I think the one thing that really, really struck me, like early in the season, they were having some communication issues in the secondary. They were leaving guys open really deep. They got kind of lucky against Kansas early in the year that they didn't connect on a couple of deep balls. But that seems to have been rectified quite a bit. And what struck me more than anything this season was watching the Missouri defense against Alabama's offense and just realizing, like, when a Missouri tackler gets his hands on a guy, the guy goes down. And that's, when you're playing Alabama and all the Derrick Henry aura that program brought to the table for so long, that hasn't always been the case. But it was just, you could tell Missouri was their physical equal. And that was kind of not something you always see from a Missouri defense. So that was really heartening. They really controlled the Vanderbilt offensive line a couple of weeks later. That was, Vandy's O-line has gotten a lot of press this season, and the way they were able to rebuild it, but Missouri dominated that matchup and should have won that game. A&M was interesting. I mean, there's the offensive structure for an A&M is really fun with the way they have both Craver and Concepcion, and they can really stretch you horizontally in either direction. And once they were able to find some success on the perimeter, then suddenly run lanes open and then tighten up the seam and all these things. They were able to.
The first 3 quarters of that game, I'm just going to call it how I see it. A&M only found success throwing bubble screens and running speed sweep. Like that is about all they got for 3 quarters.
Yeah. And even with some of the tight end catches up the seam, Missouri was doing well enough with field position to where they'd get a couple of those and they'd stall out. And so it was really good. And then, in the second half, I think, it was one of those let go of the rope situations once the offense had made it very clear. We're not scoring. We're not scoring nearly enough to keep up. And then suddenly there were some more breakdowns. But that was really, in terms of offenses that have had success against Missouri this year, that was pretty much it. And, for what OU brings to the table, I don't think they have Craver Concepcion on the outside and the speed advantages that presents. Almost nobody does. So, if you're Missouri heading into this game, you have to feel confident that if we can make OU drive 75 yards, they're not going to, and we can really kind of keep this close deep into the game.
We hear a lot of offseason talk about transfer portal and who picked up who, and it usually starts with quarterbacks and trickles down from there. Well, I think this is one of the best transfer portal pickups that you just don't hear a whole lot about. I think he's one of the best linebackers in the SEC. I played against his dad. His dad had a helmet full of concrete, was a killer. Coach Venables coached his brother there at Clemson for a little bit. Josiah Trotter coming in from West Virginia. That dude is a man.
Yeah, it was going to be like heading into the season. It felt like there were a lot of options at the linebacker position, and we were curious who was going to break through. And Trotter was like, "Nope, I broke through. I'm the guy. There's no competition here." He's been really, especially when you've got Newsom at tight end as well. Nicholas Rodriguez can do kind of a inside outside kind of thing. Like they have really good linebackers, but it starts with Trotter. Trotter, Zion Young at defensive end. Really kind of Damon Wilson at times at defensive end as well. They really did kind of have to hit on a couple of transfers, especially in the front six. And they did. They had Purpula's been fine. He hasn't been amazing, but when you think about the transfers on that side of the ball and just immediately going out and grabbing Ahmad Hardy as soon as he became available last year, this was a big year where they needed to hit in the portal, and they absolutely did.
Looking at that defense as a whole, Bill, is there anything that is really given them trouble? I feel like when you look at all their metrics, like they've been a very consistent group, but is there any weakness you see that OU could possibly exploit?
When there's a breakdown, it can be a pretty big breakdown. Vanderbilt had like one good offensive play, but it was a 70-something yard touchdown run where they blocked the edge just perfectly, and there was nobody left in safety to catch up. Like I said, early in the season, it felt like there were some really rickety moments with the secondary. It seems like that's been showing up for the most part, or maybe just the pass rush got better and nobody's been able to really look deep. But that is kind of the deal. It's pretty all or nothing. My success rate measure, they're 9th in the country. They're 5th in 3 and outs. But, one of the things I look at a lot is yards per successful play. Like when you have a good play, is it like 5 yards on first down or is it 20 yards on first down? They're 71st in that, which isn't terrible, but it's not 5th, so that seems to be, you can hit when you land a punch, it can be a pretty good punch sometimes. And that's for, in a game like this, it really is going to be like who can snag the random 40-yard play and get some easy points out of the deal, even if it's just a field goal. And certainly OU has some athletes who can do that.
Well, Coach Venables last night on the coaches show said that this is a playoff game, and that's how Oklahoma is treating it. And Missouri with 3 losses, who knows? Can you get in with 3 losses? It would be difficult, but they would need this one if that would be the case.
Right.
And it's going to be a hostile crowd. There's, to say the least, there's been a little tension building between the two programs. How do you see it playing out?
Yeah, that's really, especially if Zollers plays, it's hard as a Missouri fan to say, oh, well, they should absolutely go to Norman and win. Like I've been in Norman. I know how that's about the most shrill sounding. I still bring up that 07 game, like where the crowd forced that Daniel Macklin fumble. There was no other reason for them to just lay the ball on the ground, but it was like an earthquake. That's a really tough environment. Even for Pabula, that'll be a tough environment. And it's hard to say that there should absolutely be a win here. But I mean, like I said, if you can get away with the field position game and not and at least break even in terms of turnovers, Missouri can play a lowest common denominator defense heavy kind of game, and they're going to give themselves a shot. Playoff, hard to say they really have a chance there, but I did think it was very useful that last week against Mississippi State, after the bad loss to A&M, that kind of eliminated you. And then they come out and they play really, really hard with attitude. Everybody, that was the hardest Ahmad Hardy's run, or had the opportunity to run maybe in a few weeks. So that was a good sign. Like they're still dialed in. They're still trying to win games. And like 9-3 at Missouri is still pretty awesome. Like they have that on the table. They could win 10 games for a third straight year. I don't think anybody's really underestimating that would be huge for the program. It just requires them to, when's the last time they won in Norman? Like, I don't know, 1960 or something. It's been a while.
All right. A few SP plus questions for you, Bill.
Okay.
Who's the best team in the SEC?
From a numbers standpoint,
and combine it with what your eyes are telling you too. I know that you. I know that actually, numbers are your thing, but
I just looked, and actually the answer is the same. I forgot Georgia had actually hopped to the top of the list from an SEC standpoint. They are sixth in SP plus. They were 10th. Georgia's been maddening this year. Just the whole come out looking like we didn't spend a second on game plans and let's just figure things out and then we'll be awesome in the fourth quarter and pull it out. Like that's really, really frustrating. But the last 2 weeks they have been dialed in, and I think we saw this from Georgia during their second national title run as well. Like if they can just kind of get away with getting by for a while, we're going to shift into gear in November and we're going to be in pretty great shape. It certainly looks like, even if they don't make the SEC title game, I think they're in great shape here. But it really is a hilarious conference this year. All year, I put out SP plus, and Ohio State, Indiana are 1-2, and Oregon's up there, Texas Tech's up there, and everybody's like, "Oh, the SEC stinks. They don't even have a top 4 or 5 team." Well, they have most of 6 through 15, however, and it's been. I think we've seen how that plays out in the season. Just a lot of very, very even teams battling each other. Whether one of them has enough upside to win 3 or 4 playoff games, I'm not completely sure. Although Georgia does feel like they could be that team now. But yeah, Georgia's good. Ole Miss is good. Oklahoma was hilarious. They were, for a minute there, I think they were the highest ranked SEC team. And then they beat Alabama, but they fall because the game was so turnover heavy and weird, and the offensive stats weren't good and all this other stuff. So that was kind of funny to see. But they're still up there. They're 12th, like 3 points out of the top 5. It's a whole bunch of teams massed together.
Are there any teams that are either good or bad? Like the record doesn't indicate what the analytics say, because football's crazy, right? Crazy things happen. And sometimes teams have those years where when something crazy happens, it happens a lot. And you get these strange outliers.
Well, I did, I mentioned Georgia, I mentioned Ole Miss, I mentioned Oklahoma. Texas A&M's undefeated, and they're 9th in SP plus. I do think that probably they are a very streaky team, where for a quarter and a half they look like they could win the national title, and then the first half of South Carolina happens. So I don't know how trustworthy they are overall, but they're obviously very good and they bring a lot to the table. But still, like 10-0 in the SEC, but 9th overall is always going to look a little weird. Honestly, Texas looked a little weird until they suffered their 3rd loss. They've been in the double digits. SP Plus hasn't been a fan of them all year, and then after they got drubbed last week, now they're 21st. So it would be a decent sized, even with A&M being kind of low, it'd be a decent sized upset if they were able to pull off an upset there and position themselves to steal a playoff bid. I don't think it's going to happen.
How much do you think the college football playoff committee uses your SP plus stuff?
Well,
do you know? Like that, is that something they've talked to you about?
I don't. So from the start, because everybody hated the BCS formula, but as I've always said, they hated the BCS formula because it could only pick 2 teams. It didn't we just hated that the 3rd team got left out no matter who it was. But when that happened, when they formed the committee, they were proud about it. Like, there's no formula here. We're not going to use advanced stats. We're just going to use our genius eyeballs. And, I obviously this year they use a strength of schedule metric, or they do a little better job of that than they did in previous years. But they kind of proudly eschew that stuff. I can't say that anybody doesn't, like, individual committee members might look on the side, but in that room, they supposedly don't discuss it at all. And, so be it. Each week I've been kind of tracking, like, what if we just used a strength of record type of measure, or my resume measure, or whatever? What would the story tell? And that's been kind of interesting to follow. But as far as I know, the committee doesn't really do any of that.
Well, that's interesting. How do you, there's always this big debate. Well, the SEC's overrated. The Big Ten's overrated. These conferences aren't any good. How do, like, the ACC and the Big 12 with the teams at the top, how do the kind of the top teams measure up outside of the teams that are like in the top 10 that we know about? Can you tell a clear difference in your formula?
Well, I mean, if we just look purely at average rating, which is not, does not tell us how good the best teams or whatever. SEC is about 3.8 points ahead of the Big Ten on average. Big Ten's 3.3 points ahead of the Big 12. Big 12's that same distance ahead of the ACC. The ACC stinks. I was looking at the other day. I hated when the American Conference added a bunch of kind of also-rans from Conference USA. They didn't get much out of that. If you just look at the original American Conference members, Memphis and Tulane and whatnot, they're basically the ACC this year. But Big 12 solid, and it's solid mainly because of those teams at the top. Texas Tech is third in SP Plus ahead of any SEC team. Their defensive front is about as nasty as any in the country, and they're going to be able to compete in games because of that. Strangely, if they fall short in the playoff, it'd be because of offense, I think, which is not a Texas Tech thing. But Utah's up there. They're eighth. BYU has been kind of up and down. Their offense isn't extremely reliable, but they're good in the trenches. Miami's still in the top 15 as well. But yeah, there's a pretty clear hierarchy. SEC, then Big 10, then Big 12, then ACC, then AAC, all by about the same amount of distance.
Bill, you're the man. It's always so fun to catch up. I would say good luck to your Missouri Tigers this weekend, but I don't mean that.
Might be a little bit bigger for OU this weekend. That might just slightly.
OU's they're like your 1A team, you're an Oklahoman.
I won't mention who I rooted for in high school in that regard, but I do have a lot of OU friends, yes.
Gross. So gross, Bill. We still love you though, man. You're the best. Wind, hail, tornadoes, and earthquakes are now year-round threats. And at the same time, homeowners insurance rates in Oklahoma are the highest in the entire country. Unfortunately, some insurance companies use deceptive and bad faith claim handling practices to deny or lower what little they pay out. Fortunately, one of the leading insurance bad faith attorneys in the country is a longtime Sooner and resides here in Oklahoma, Jeff Marr. The Marr Law Firm has represented more victims of tornado, storm, and earthquake damage than anyone in the Sooner State, recovering hundreds of millions of dollars for their clients. There's only one law firm to handle insurance companies, Marr Law Firm. And three things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise. It's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go.
Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School represents a tradition of educational excellence in Oklahoma City. Grounded in a faith-based education, Bishop McGuinness offers a college prep curriculum that includes 26 AP courses, participation in OSSAA athletics, and numerous clubs and organizations for students to join and grow. If you want to provide the best possible educational and spiritual development for your children, contact Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School or visit bmchs.org. Financial aid is available.
All right, time to preview the biggest games of Week 13 of college football. Let's start in Eugene. Number 15 USC travels to take on number 7 Oregon. This will be your 2:30 CBS game. Currently, the Oregon Ducks are a 9.5-point favorite. Ted, large spread for the for bitter Big Ten rivals.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting spread. You know, I'm not sure what I think about Oregon. Good football team, clearly. Good on both sides of the ball. They've got playmakers. They're a quick strike offense that can make you pay anywhere from the on the field. But that number, that's a lot, isn't it?
It feels large. It does feel like the odds makers just saying, "Hey, USC, we kind of think you won't be able to hold up at the line of scrimmage against Oregon." That's how it feels to me. Because remember, Dante Moore is maybe the best pure passer in college football, but like his weapons have been banged up, and I think DeCorian Moore's supposed to be back for this game, and we saw Sadiq, the tight end, come back last week. But it's just that's how it feels to me. Is it's just like they think USC is going to get pushed around a little bit.
Yeah, that might be the case. USC has been prone to that a bit. This is one of those where I kind of see if USC has a chance to win it, it's going to be like a late push. Oregon has a lead, kind of settles in a little bit, and here comes that explosive Southern Cal offense in the second half, finding some quick strikes, and then maybe have a chance in the last possession or two to be able to go win it. But I got it more around like the 6.5 numbers where I would put it. I'd probably take the points with USC right now. But I mean, this is where you really get to see where both of these teams are. The Big Ten, I say whatever you want. It doesn't present a bunch of top matchups between playoff caliber teams. And this is an elimination game, definitely for USC, but perhaps for Oregon too.
Yeah, and I think one of the problems for USC is Oregon has no problem playing like whatever style they have to play.
Yeah.
They may just be Iowa with a more dynamic passing attack. And that's one thing. How is USC feeling after having to play Iowa? Maybe that's baked into that number as well. Like playing Iowa does not look fun. Does not look like a particularly good time. But it'll be interesting to see which weapons Dante Moore has at his disposal in the passing game. But USC has done a nice job of running the football lately with King Miller.
Yeah.
I think Oregon's going to make them a little more one-dimensional in this game. I think this is going to be on Jaden Maiava and Makai Lemon and Jacoby Lane, which if you tell USC people that, they're probably like, fine, we think he might be the best wide receiver in the country. But I just think it's going to put a lot of pressure on Maiava to be elite, and I could see him making a few mistakes in this one. I kind of like Oregon big.
I don't hate that. I think it could definitely unfold that way. It's so hard that Oregon's just not that battle tested. They lost that game to Indiana. I know they went on the road in tough conditions with missing some players and beat Iowa. They got tested there, but there's just not a whole lot to compare it against. Pretty much have played the bottom half of the conference. The Penn State win at the time was really big, but I think you're right. I do think like I said, USC in the second half may have a chance to make it interesting and get within a score, but to your point, Oregon could say, well, nice try, turn them over, whatever it is, and go punch it in. And then the separation's there. USC's one-dimensional, and it's going to be very difficult against what I think is a very well-coached Oregon defense.
Is this a playoff elimination game for both teams? It obviously is for USC.
Oregon's interesting. If they lose, their resume is not going to look good at all.
No.
So And there's a chance you're going to have a pile of SEC 2-loss teams with resumes that look a lot better than Oregon's will.
Yeah,
You know,
and they're at Washington next week, but they're not going to play in the Big Ten championship game.
right.
So if they lose this, they're definitely in jeopardy of getting left out.
They have to treat it like a playoff game. I mean, that's kind of where they're at, I think.
It kind of feels like if they lose, they're out. To me,
Yeah.
that's how it feels.
Depending on it's hard to know how everything shakes out, but yes, with 2 losses with no real premium win, you know, it's going to be a beauty contest at that point between 2 lost teams, and it doesn't feel great, to say the least.
Looking at this game, I'm not sure. Like, that's a big number. It's kind of a stay away number for me, because you look at it and you're like, okay, what's going on here?
Right.
I personally think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I think people see Oregon and USC and they still think points, points, points.
Yeah.
And I kind of think it's going to be more of a lower scoring game played in the 20s.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But you mentioned that Oregon Penn State game. You know what I want to see? I want to see the return of that version of Dan Lanning. Remember that guy in that post-game interview? That's the Dan Lanning I want to see. Hey, is this guy on drugs version of him? That's what I want to see on the sideline in this game. Give me the intensity, Lanning. Let's go. Big one.
Yeah, he hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities to pull that side of him out, and feels like in the big games, that's whenever that Dan Lanning shows up. And this one is, I mean, this is the game of the season for him, and maybe the season is on the line. So I'm with you.
So we both think Oregon's going to win the game?
Yeah, I do.
Yep. I'm with you. All right, on to the next game. We got a big one. Playoff elimination game. In Georgia Tech. Pitt at Georgia Tech. What's Georgia Tech ranked now? 16th. This will be your 6 p.m. game on ESPN. Georgia Tech currently a 2.5-point favorite. Both teams only have 1 loss in conference play. Huge game in the chaotic ACC. And it's very simple for Brent Key and Georgia Tech. If they win, they punch their ticket to the ACC title game for the first time since 2009. It's that simple for them. Now, Pitt still has Miami next week. Good luck, guys. But it doesn't get simpler than that for a team, Ted. You are at home with a chance to go to a conference title game. You win that, you're in the playoff. Pretty simple for Georgia Tech here.
Yeah. I like Georgia Tech. I mean, Pitt didn't show me much against Notre Dame, and maybe
Georgia Tech just beat Boston College with a walk-off field goal, dude.
That's true. Maybe the Narduzzi quote that he doesn't care if they lose by 100 was legit, and they just didn't throw a whole lot out there. I don't know, but I don't know. Like in any type of a battle, give me Haynes King, man.
I'm with you. He is one of my favorite college football players to watch. And that offense is one of my favorite offenses to watch. All kinds of different personnel groupings, shifts, motions, lots of pro run concepts. They sprinkled the RPO stuff in with it. But it all comes together because of Haynes King.
Mm-hmm.
And undoubtedly in the fourth quarter, he's going to look like he's going to die at some point. He's going to look like he's going to pass out on the field. That's just like a given with this dude. But the interesting thing is, like, Georgia Tech's defense coming in this game, they're struggling, man. Boston College, who is not good, carved them up. I think they had like 175 on the ground. And Mason Heinzel, he'll make some mistakes. We saw it against Notre Dame, right? But he also plays a little fearless, and he will throw that thing around. So if Pitt gets the best version of Heinkel in this game, if he can play mistake-free, then it's a 2.5-point spread for a reason, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. I don't know. I guess the little I've seen from Pitt, if you can shut down the run versus Haynes King, like that's the key to beating Georgia Tech. And Boston College did it. They had success shutting him down. I mean, he's been over 100 yards most games, and then I think he rushed for like 30 or 40 yards against Boston College. That's a real good job. If Pitt can, take something from what Boston College did and limit Haynes King, they have a chance. But I don't know. Give me Georgia Tech. I'll lay the 2.5 all day.
Haynes King ain't losing on senior night. Georgia Tech minus 2.5.
That's where I'm at with it.
Even though it would be the most ACC thing ever with the way that this season is going for Pitt to win this game.
Yeah.
And just make the standings even more chaotic. But one follow-up. Let's say Georgia Tech wins this game. You know who they have next week?
Georgia.
Correct. There's an argument that can be made that they should consider, sitting some guys next week. Because they have a playoff game in the ACC championship game. It's the only way they're getting in. They're not going to beat Georgia. Let's be real. Come on.
Right.
Now, I'm sure Brent Key would slap me for even suggesting this, which I respect. But is it that different than an NFL team who's already made the wild card sitting their starters in the last regular season game of the year to get ready for the playoff game? Is it that different now?
Are you telling me that Brent Key may get to the podium and say, this isn't a conference game. I don't care if we lose by 100.
I'm just saying, I don't think it will cross his mind at some point and he'll be like, that's stupid. Stop it. But there's an argument to
everything your instinct says.
There's an argument to be made that if Georgia Tech wins this game, because remember, if they win, they are in the ACC championship game.
Yep.
Sitting their starters against Georgia next week would not be the dumbest thing in the world.
No.
Because if Haynes King gets hurt playing against Georgia, then you are screwed and your season is done. I would never do it. I think everyone in that locker room would be very upset. Like, I don't think it's going to happen. But I do wonder if that staff has the conversation behind closed doors. Everyone put your phones in the basket. Let's talk about this real quick.
You would never do it? You're telling me you would never do it?
I'd have the conversation. I'd maybe pull Haynes King in my office and say, Haynes, let me run something by you. Because he's the leader of the team. He controls that locker room, right? What do you think? Because the ACC championship game is a playoff game for them. Win and you're in. You have to win that game. The Georgia game, and I know that they almost, was that last year when they almost beat him? Was that crazy game?
Yeah.
That was cool, but what did it get him?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Haynes,
I hate that I'm saying what I'm saying right now, but it's just where we're at in the sport.
If we beat Pitt, I need you to go have a bunch of beers, go to a bar and get in a fight or something so I can suspend you for the Georgia game. That's what we need you to do.
I need
take
you
one for the team.
I need you to take a knee the last play of the game and then have a very significant limp as you're walking off the field.
Or
you're fine-ish, but then you need to precautionary. We got to hold him out against Georgia. We can't take the chance. He's got to be ready to go next week. He just wasn't quite ready.
Hear me out. Wildcat, Haynes King at wide receiver, crack toss or crack sweep and get a targeting call, get ejected in the second half. Huh?
Okay. First play of the game, targeting call on Haynes King. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
That's good. That would definitely be the least obvious. That's pretty good. I'm just saying. I hate that I'm saying what I'm saying, but it's something to think about, dude.
Makes a hell of a lot of sense to me.
We had a game earlier this year where the opposing team was like, "We're not playing our quarterback against that defense."
Matter of fact, we're not playing our second team quarterback against that defense.
And that coach is now the permanent head coach of that program.
Yeah. Interesting.
Just saying. Crazier things have happened. All right. Are you interested in any of these other SEC on SEC games? We've got Arkansas at Texas, Kentucky at Vanderbilt, Tennessee at Florida.
Well, here's the thing. It is Kentucky and Vandy is interesting just because Kentucky started to play some better football.
Yeah.
They've been dangerous, and Vanderbilt cannot lose. All right. It feels like they're kind of on the outside looking in anyways, but they're one of those 2-loss teams that this is an elimination game for them. That's interesting. Tennessee at Florida is interesting, just kind of the narrative around Tennessee. I don't know how important it is for us. If we win out, I think we're in, but resume-wise, it's going to be a beauty contest between 2-loss teams for seeding, and it would be nice if Tennessee would continue to win, because, like, if you're the 9 seed instead of the 8 seed and you're going on the road instead of hosting, that's a big deal, right? So I think there's some interest there because of that.
I think as far as the Sooner Nation rooting guide, let's revisit it real quick. You want Texas to win? Because remember, as fun as it is to see Texas lose, they beat us. You want Texas to win.
Yep.
Bounce back in a big way against Arkansas. You want Vandy to win. You want Tennessee to win. And then you want Tennessee to beat Vandy next week.
Yep.
That's
right.
Best case scenario for OU, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The only thing about the Tennessee-Florida game is did see some flashes of DJ Lagway last week where I was like, oh, I don't know. Watching Aguilar and those wide receivers against that Florida defense is going to be fun, though. That's going to be a fun matchup.
And on the flip side, I don't think Tennessee secondary is very good. And when Lagway and that group get going, they can turn your lights out down the field. So that may be a high-scoring affair.
Aguilar may throw Florida a couple, and this thing could be real interesting.
Yeah.
But we're cheering hard for the Vols. Maybe Ole Miss got Florida's last big effort of the season last week. That's possible. But it does feel like that's going to be a competitive game and then set up. Hopefully Tennessee's able to go to the Swamp and win and set up a Vandy Tennessee game in Knoxville next week that feels like there's a lot on the line, especially for Vandy.
Do you feel like Florida had to treat last week like an open tryout for their coach next year to keep him around?
Very
possible.
possible.
Where the motivation was?
The Kiffin thing here's where I'm at with the Lane Kiffin situation. Just let me know when he decides. I don't really care about the planes and his family visiting. I just let me know when he makes a decision, and then we'll talk about it. That's kind of where I'm at with it. He has handled it in a very Lane Kiffin manner.
Yes, of course. It's always about, he's typically trolling opponents, but now he's trolling his own fan base and his own administration, it feels like.
Which, for Ole Miss fans, can't feel great. It's like, there's been an ultimatum. There's no ultimatum.
It's fun whenever it's always going out, but now you're getting what you always see with everyone else. It's interesting.
Yeah, let me know when he makes a decision, and then we'll break it down. Sound good?
Yeah, I like the favorites in all those games, though.
Yeah, Hard not to. All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. But first, if you're looking for tickets to OU's next game, SeatGeek is where y'all need to go. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of the Oklahoma Sooners. So all Sooners tickets on SeatGeek are authentic and secure, and every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. So go to SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app and use our code BREAKDOWN10 for 10% off any tickets. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports festivals, and more. The app is extremely easy to use, and SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. And remember, you can use code BREAKDOWN10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code BREAKDOWN10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thanks, SeatGeek. And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. As always, Ted, kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
Notre Dame. College football playoff rankings were revealed, and Notre Dame continues to be the big winner, treated differently than everyone else. The only thing really that they have going for themselves right now is their losses. And for some reason, their losses are keeping them ranked high. And I get it. Yes, they are good losses, but pretty fascinating whenever you see the explanation of everything. People keep talking about it, and it's inching closer. The committee's got a Miami Notre Dame issue on the horizon if things play out the way they look like they may, to where are you going to continue to keep Miami with 2 losses behind Notre Dame with 2 losses whenever they won the head-to-head?
Can you explain to me why Notre Dame is ranked ahead of Alabama?
No. I can't explain to you why they're ranked ahead of Alabama, why they're ranked ahead of BYU, why they're ranked ahead. I mean,
well, I
Miami,
can explain you the BYU one. Like, the committee thinks Notre Dame has a lot better players. Like that one's easy for me to understand. The Alabama one is where I go, wait, Alabama was just number 4. They got beat by 2 points, at home, by a team that you now have as number 8. They drop behind Notre Dame. Is the committee that worried about Bama's inability to run the football? Like, it's that big of a deal to them?
No, it's not. You've been able to tell since the very beginning that there is a concerted effort to keep Notre Dame in the playoff. I don't know why, but they're being treated differently than pretty much everyone else, right?
That's how it feels. 2 really good losses, though. Early in the season, I guess it's a great reminder that if you're going to lose, losing early is the way to do it.
No doubt. No doubt.
Which, you know what? When I saw Bama behind Notre Dame, you know what one of my reactions was? Why on earth would the SEC move to 9 conference games now? Like, clearly the strength of records, like that whole thing.
Well,
like Bama just lost.
They got to make a decision by December 1st on next year's playoff. And if you don't make a decision by December 1st to where you're expanding, and like that was the big holdup, right? Is if we're going to get to this, we want to see the SEC go to 9 conference games, but they went to 9 conference games. If you don't go to the like you're still staying at 12. I mean, you're right. Like, do we axe that and go back to the 8? I doubt it, but no, you're absolutely right.
It's like Bama's got like a 4-week stretch that is unmatched. Like a 4-week stretch of wins
Yeah.
that is unmatched this season. And I guess that doesn't get them ahead of Notre Dame.
No, because Notre Dame lost to Miami and Texas A&M, you see?
Oh, got it.
See?
I got it.
No, they haven't beat anybody, but you see they lost to A&M and Miami, so they must be really good.
Now they did beat USC, which USC is a good football team. So
True.
I will give them that. They've got that win, but other than that,
Well,
I mean,
it'll
I
be
guess they just
interesting
beat Pitt. That was really
be
impressive.
interesting
I
to
guess
see
the
what
win over
happens
Pitt.
if USC loses to Oregon. Like, I know it doesn't affect the great losses they had, so maybe there's no change, but it shouldn't help their resume. I don't know. Fascinating.
I the analytics, the metrics love Notre Dame. So I think that's probably a factor here as well. But yeah, if I was an Alabama fan, I'd be very, very frustrated.
Yeah.
I but
And Alabama's,
congrats Notre Dame.
think about Alabama. If Alabama wins out and they make the SEC playoff and or the SEC championship and they lose and now they have 3 losses, does making the SEC championship have the possibility of eliminating them from the playoff? And we haven't seen enough of this. There's the thought that if you make a championship game and you play that extra data point, it shouldn't be held against you and as a loss to force you out of the playoff. But, there's some situations going where it's like, maybe it ends up, yes, actually having effect on them making the playoff. I don't know. What do you think? Would that ever be a factor?
I think the committee just told us they think Notre Dame is better than Alabama. You know? So if they take a third loss, because if they go on the road and beat Auburn, who's Notre Dame got? Notre Dame has Syracuse and Stanford left. Yeah. So I don't think Notre Dame, they're probably going to murder both of those teams. And their view on Notre Dame is going to say the same. Is the committee's view of Alabama going to change significantly if they go to Jordan-Hare and beat Auburn? Maybe a little. Like, is that going to jump them over Notre Dame? Because if they're behind him when they go to play in the SEC championship game, like if they lose, they're not going to jump them. So Alabama maybe not in the best position now. If they beat Auburn and then go win the SEC championship game, then everything's fine, But
right.
Yeah, you've brought up an interesting point, Ted.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be fascinating to see what happens.
Must be good to be Notre Dame, man.
Must be
good to be Notre Dame. Who do you have as your loser?
I got to go BYU. Where BYU sits, they're a one-loss team. And, if they don't win the Big 12, they're probably not going to make it. They're going to be bumped for I don't know, Tulane or as a one-loss, possibly a one-loss regular season Power 4 team. They may not make the playoff. Isn't that crazy?
It's rough.
It's
rough. And now
they have a legitimate reason to be pissed off.
Yes. This year in particular, the G5 getting an automatic spot is one of those where you go,
yeah.
but they are going to have an opportunity. Now they got to go beat Cincinnati at Cincinnati this
It's
weekend.
going to be a tough game.
They are a 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah. And it's one where they won't get a lot of, like, it's not going to be a big national game. Cincinnati, we know, is a good football team, but it's not going to be all that great of a resume builder where you sit in a room and you say, well, they did go beat Cincinnati. It just doesn't have the same impact of going and beating a big, well-known program. So I don't know. BYU is in a tough spot where they probably have to go win the Big 12 championship in order to get in. And that's probably the only way the Big 12 gets two teams in, right?
That's definitely how it feels. Now, I say that. Is there a scenario where Utah plays in the Big 12 championship game? There's got to be, right?
Yeah, there is.
So BYU, wait, they'd have to lose twice, though. Because BYU beat Utah.
Right. Is that right?
Yeah. So BYU, they'd have to lose to Cincinnati and then lose to UCF. Is that correct?
Who was Utah's other loss to?
It doesn't matter.
It was Tech. I was making sure it wasn't a non-con game.
Because BYU beat Utah 24-21 on October 18th.
Yeah.
But if the committee clearly really likes Utah.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you asked a bunch of people in the committee, they'd say Utah is better than BYU, even though they play.
Yeah.
But it is, it feels like, and we talked about it when BYU got stomped by Tech the way that they did. Like they're going to have to win the Big 12 championship game to get in.
Yep.
And if you go 11-1 in the regular season, and you have to win the championship game to get in, that's frustrating.
11-1, and your only loss is to what, number 5, Texas Tech? But Notre Dame has two good losses. You see, they lost to Miami and A&M. So
I keep forgetting about the really good Notre Dame losses. That's on me.
You only have one good loss. See, you only lost to the number 5 team. You need 2 losses in order to jump Notre Dame. That's how that goes.
Got it. Makes sense. All right, let's get to my winner and loser of the week. For my winner, give me Virginia Tech. They hired James Franklin.
Huge. Perfect hire.
Awesome hire. Awesome. And listen, I know that this season was a disaster at Penn State, but that doesn't erase all the other games he won there. The dude can coach, clearly. And it feels like this is the best coach Virginia Tech will have had since Frank Beamer.
Easily.
It feels like a big deal, right? It feels like a very big deal for Virginia Tech football.
Do you think there's any chance that Penn State is having firing regret, little remorse?
Yes.
You think they're saying, did we do the right thing here?
Are we about to hire Manny Diaz? I don't know, but it does. Like, they're not getting Matt Rule. I don't think Lane Kiffin or would ever consider that job.
I think Matt Campbell's now the betting favorite, isn't he?
I think that would be a great hire for them. I love Matt Campbell. I just don't think he's ever going to leave Iowa State, man.
He may not, and I
could be wrong.
I think it'd be a good hire for him too, but it's not one where they're going to be saying, yes, somehow we pulled off Matt Campbell.
It's not like they fired James Franklin and hired Sean McVay,
Right. How many people outside of like the Big 12 have the respect for what Matt Campbell's done at Iowa State? Like, I just don't know that. I don't know it's viewed the same way we view it. You know what I'm saying? I think
4 or 5 years ago, everyone knew, everyone thought Matt Campbell was.
Because they went from the depths of hell to right up there fighting for a Big 12 championship.
Yeah, but
I still haven't won anything, though.
Yeah,
you're getting rid of a guy that couldn't get over a hump to bring in another guy who couldn't get over the hump.
maybe that's just Penn State's got a type, man. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. But Virginia Tech, remember they came out and said they were adding like $230 million to the athletics budget over the next 4 years. Like they were going to invest. And I'm guessing large chunk of that is going to James Franklin.
It's got to go to a big-time coach, a pool of money to hire assistants. He'll put together, I would imagine, a really good staff. And you got to be able to go out and get players. And wherever he's been, he can recruit. You know, Franklin gets good players. So I think it's an absolute home run for Virginia Tech. And he's pissed off. You know?
Yeah, an extra motivated, like, oh, I'll show you, James Franklin. They're going to get a huge boost in recruiting. And clearly NIL and all that plays a massive factor. And he's going to have to get the big money people at Virginia Tech behind him. I think he's quite the salesman. I think that won't be difficult for him. He knows that area really, really well. He's recruited it for a long, long time. But the number one reason I think they're going to get a big boost in recruiting, and high school recruiting is still really important. Ted, can you tell me what Brent Pry looks like?
No.
Do you know what color his hair is? Justin Fuente.
I know what he looks like.
I know you do. But if he wasn't an OU guy.
Nobody else does. No.
Yeah. No offense to those guys, but when James Franklin walks into a school with Virginia Tech stuff on, everyone's going to go, James Franklin's here.
It's the biggest, it's the most relevant move, biggest moment for Virginia Tech in 25 years. Easily.
There are way
Michael
different.
Vick was there.
Yeah, there are way different expectations at Virginia Tech than Penn State. And I'm excited to see if James Franklin can exceed those expectations. Like that fan base, they want to be in the mix in the ACC. Like they want to play in some ACC title games. They want to have a chance to make some playoffs. This is what I was thinking about. Could you imagine being a Virginia Tech fan? Week 1, one of the football gods floats over to you and goes, hey, let me tell you a secret. Yes, football god. James Franklin's going to be your coach in November. How excited would that person be? You know what I mean? Like, if you put it in that context.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Yeah, absolute home run. Literally, there's not a scenario that could have gone better, right? There's not one. A realistic one, and it doesn't even feel like this is realistic, but here it is. I mean, you got to remember, there's like 2 full generations of college football fans that have never seen Virginia Tech do anything at all. Total non-relevant program, and now James Franklin is their coach.
Enter Sandman's sick, though.
It's about to be a lot sicker.
I think they're going to get some better players.
Yep.
It's going to be a big deal. But yeah, I'm excited for Virginia Tech and their fans. Big deal. My loser of the week. Give me Arizona State. Even though he publicly, everything he says indicates that he has no interest in leaving, somehow Kenny Dillingham is now the betting favorite to be the next LSU coach. Which, don't do it, LSU. Don't you dare.
Way too likable.
Don't do it. So, but there is that. And that's not for fun. That can't be fun for Arizona State, right?
Yeah.
Then Pete Nakos and Steve Wiltfong at On 3 reported that their quarterback, Sam Leavitt, is doubtful to return to the program next season and that Leavitt's camp is actively shopping the passer, quote, at a high level. Now, his brother is his agent, which what could go wrong there? His brother is his agent and came out and said, that's not true. He hasn't made a decision yet. Put some text message screenshots between him and Nakos out, Ted, on the Instagram story. Nice.
Big time.
But Nakos just didn't pull that out of thin air, man. That guy knows all the right people. So I just the vibes around Arizona State not great, and they should be excited. They're having a decent season. Leavitt's been banged up. That's been a big issue as to why they've got the 3 losses, but I don't know. The vibes just not great in Tempe.
No, Leavitt will look good in that LSU uni, though. You know what I'm saying? Going to look real good. Arizona State's
package deal
all day. Arizona State's biggest problem is their financial situation is dire with their athletic department. They're in some serious trouble, and it goes back quite a ways. And I don't know, if they've gotten on better footing with the new deal with the Big 12 and all of that stuff. Not sure, but they just don't have the resources probably to even pay their coach, much less go out and get a bunch of big name players. So as much as Dillingham wants to stay, he may not have much of an option if he wants to go compete for a championship. That's just kind of how it is.
Are we about a month away from an article that Kenny Dillingham traveled over to Abu Dhabi to start raising some capital, find some investors?
Yeah, I think so.
Big Ten's doing something. It looks like they're about to take some capital investment. Arizona State, I said that about Oklahoma State, remember, a while back? Yeah. I was like, hey, private equity may be interested in supporting Oklahoma State football. They're going to want their chunk, and they're going to take their flesh. That's what they do. But maybe that's the route Arizona State has to go down if they would have the resources they need, man. I don't know. But I just really feel for Dillingham, man. And the dude, he has said all the right things publicly. He's constantly asking the people in that community to invest in that program and help his players out. I feel like he has poured every ounce of his being into his alma mater. And then, all right, your quarterback's going to hit free agency. Thanks, man. Now, and I won't feel bad for him if he's actually leaving, and this is all connected. Clearly, I'll change my opinion on it if that's the case. But, man, vibes aren't great.
No, it hurts. Yeah. And, in this day and age, you almost can't blame Leavitt for, the situation, right? I mean, it's like, I would always want to be a guy that stays there with my dudes, my players, the guys that I came in with, but there's so many moving parts now anyways that I don't know. It's just, maybe I'm getting used to it. I don't know.
This is something we've talked about a lot on here. And there's no doubt from a financial standpoint, Sam Leavitt hitting free agency is the way for him to make the most money. And the Athletic reported, hey, watch out for Texas Tech and Miami. Way to go out on a limb there, guys.
Yeah. Oh, really? Interesting.
But and maybe he ends up somewhere and he gets better, and this all pays off by him being like a first or second round draft pick, something like that. And maybe he wins the conference championship in the SEC or goes and plays in the playoff. Like that's all on the table. He's a really talented player. But at some point, these kids will realize that you cannot put a value on having a place to call home the rest of your life.
True.
At some point, you and I are the perfect example, Ted. I know Leavitt started at Michigan State and then he transferred to Arizona State. But him and Scadaboo took that team to a playoff. Those guys would have been legends around there forever.
Yep.
And if he leaves, that is gone. Everyone will always remember you as the guy that left.
Yep.
And is that worth $500,000 more from an SEC team? I don't know. Maybe it is to him. But it just all the way that some of these guys move around, man, they're going to be 35 and going, man, I don't feel like I'm welcome anywhere. And I don't know. It's as you get older, like I continue to appreciate more and more that like I have a place to call home.
Yep. And I mean, the transfer stuff, it works out for some guys, no doubt, but there ain't no guarantee that you just say, if I go somewhere else, I'm going to play a lot better and be a first round draft pick. I know that's what everyone thinks, but as we've seen, especially if you're going to the SEC, get ready. It's a long, brutal season. So I don't know. Be interesting though, like Dillingham, if he goes to LSU, that's going to be interesting.
No. Absolutely not. Don't do it. By the way, I'm fully aware. I just said all that stuff when my squad has Washington State's quarterback from last year. I'm fully aware. Not lost on me. Not lost on me at all.
I think there's some differences though. Like
there's differences in all these situations, right?
Yeah. I mean, like Washington State is a team that's not really even in a conference that
they've been left for dead.
They've been
in
left
conference
for dead.
Realignment, which is a bummer.
Yeah. But I mean, you're right.
Birthday shout outs. Welcome to the world, Baker Ferraro.
Welcome to the world, Montana Don Canis.
Canis. I'm going Canis.
Canis.
Montana Don. That's a sweet name.
Montana Don Canis.
Happy third birthday to Harry and John Malloy.
Happy 8th birthday to Sloan Massey.
Happy 13th birthday to Landon Cottle.
Happy 16th birthday to Angelica Rose Garcia.
Happy 19th birthday to Blake Foster.
Happy 55th birthday to Vincent Chico Garcia.
And happy 61st birthday to Don Johnson. On that note, episode 582 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday. Hope we're in a good mood, man.
I hope so.
Do you think we scared people with our Missouri stuff? They're good. I mean, we're just being honest. They're good.
They're good. And I think people are already scared. I don't think
good.
You know,
the crowd's going to be insane. It's going to be an all-time 11 a.m. atmosphere. I can't wait. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, make sure you check out our website, okbreakdown.com. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have an amazing weekend. Until next time, we appreciate you all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.